Tuesday. Okay, so from January 1st, they became technically illegal in Canada. So all of December, I went and phoned to 20 churches, good churches with pastors, priests that I knew, and in every case there was a reason why they couldn't offer sanctuary at this time. And you know, there were very practical reasons, like the plumbing in our church has broken down. I mean, these are realities. But honestly, at least in 50% of the cases, people said, we can talk about it maybe in January, but we're really busy. It's Christmas. We have all these things going on. And I said, his name is Joseph. They have a child. And it just took my breath away. I thought, oh my God. Here's the couple with the child seeking room in the inn right in front of us. And we're too busy with Christmas. And the thing is, I knew these people. They're really good people. The only thing that had touched me was that I had seen them. I had seen this couple and been faced by them. I wasn't better or morally astute at all, but they hadn't had that chance. And so until you are really faced by this, you really are too busy. As I would have been too busy on the phone to see them. So anyway, Advent was kind of grim, trying to find this place of safety for them. So finally, with one day left to go, somebody, an Anglican friend, said, why don't you try this group of monks in the West End, a group of Anglican monks. And I knew one of them, and I thought, why hadn't I thought of that before? So I called the priory, and I said, hey, Christian, it's Mary Jo. Oh yes, the troublemaker, you know. He's a person that works with street people. And I said, I got to cut to the chase. I'm really desperate. We have this family. They need sanctuary. And he said, fine. I said, pardon? I said, what did you say? He said, yeah, have them come. I said, pardon me. I said, Christian, would you like to meet them? Would you like to hear about their story? And he said, no, it's fine. I'll meet them when they come. So I'm kind of on the floor, you know, just trying to pick myself up. And he said, well, I'll just check with the other brothers. So he puts his hand over the tell her, yeah, they said it's okay. Just tell them to come. We think we have a room in the basement. And then he said, now just a minute, I've got to write this down. I've just been diagnosed with Alzheimer's and I have to remember. So there you go, the freedom of Alzheimer's. And they've been there. And as I say, this place has given them the time to allow Tuesday to happen. So, of course, all the people who know them will be there on Tuesday at the federal court. So I mention this as just an ethical moment. And I do believe, it is my experience, that congregations really across the country, when they have been faced with similar situations, and I do say faced, you know, when they see a person, they hear the story, there has been a remarkably generous response. I think at the moment there are about 13 churches across country offering sanctuary. Over the last 20 years that I've been involved, there would be at least 100 families who are now accepted, living peacefully and securely because a church congregation offered them sanctuary. I think in 99% of the cases, eventually people are accepted. But it's long and it's extremely difficult. And we are having a national meeting in November of people involved in sanctuary. We had one last year. And every congregation who's been through this experience will say it was the most difficult time. It's, to have people that are there, bored, and anxious, and desperate, and it's psychologically, you really have to have a plan for that. That's the most difficult aspect, because I think Immigration Canada really never invades the church, never snatches people. They just wait, and wait. And that's the really hard part.
Are people restricted to the building where they have sanctuary?
That's a really good question. Some churches have interpreted sanctuary as, you need to be like in the sanctuary, which is a technical term in some churches. But others have said, no, the rectory, the manse, any church building related to the church is the church building.
They're not free to be out and about, like going shopping or...
No, now this couple, sometimes in desperation, they walk around the block, but it's risky, I think it's risky. But, these are very good questions. I just met with another group 2 days ago, and what they are going to do, and the Church of the Holy Trinity is also going to do this, is in their church they're going to have a candle with the name of a family and say, this family is under the protection of this church, but the family is going to live in a house, undisclosed house. Because I guess my point is there are many different models of sanctuary, and at different points in history it's meant being actually in a church sanctuary, like a cathedral, or it's like during the Nazi period, it meant hiding people. There's a tradition of that, so you have to adjust accordingly. But it's a great question, and are there other questions that really want to leave time for you to ask? Lots of practical issues in this.
One question I have is, when you talk about sanctuary, you talk about physical space and also, keeping them under our auspices or whatever. What are the financial implications, and what are, there's questions of health insurance come up and that sort of thing. What different kinds of risks are there?
Sure. The health issue, basically, would not be covered by OHIP. And it actually seems to be the easiest thing to deal with, because there are doctors and nurses willing to come and see people or to... Now, if there was a need for major surgery, like if somebody had a heart attack, for example, there are hospitals in Toronto that would take them. Like St. Joseph's, for example, will take people in the family clinic with no questions or restrictions. It's just... So that seems to be fairly easy to deal with. Some churches have the resources to cover the costs of food, or food is the main thing, or other things like games and books for the children. Some places, like where this couple is staying now, cover part of the expenses, but then we've had fundraisers for them. Sarah, who's now the director of Romero House, did one of these triathlons, and they raised $1,700. So, or sometimes a church offers sanctuary, and the Sanctuary Coalition raises money for them. So we do have a coalition of people in Toronto. They meet once every 2 weeks, and we honestly foresee a really large increase in requests for sanctuary because of all the new legislation, where we see more mistakes being made, more really innocent people in danger. And so we're trying to set up a method of when refugees come, say, to Romero House or to churches, there would be an initial interview by the people there to say, is this family, if they were returned, would they be in difficulty or would they be in danger? Because sanctuary really should be for the people in danger. And if the shelter or agency says they could be in danger, then there'll be another group of people specialized in research and so on that would review the situation, and if they conclude yes, they would be in danger, then we would be seeking places for them. Does that answer your question? I mean, those are practical, but I think the biggest thing is not the money or the help, it's the care, the pastoral care of the people. So with this couple, who are immensely resourceful, we've set up people like that. They will have at least one visit a day. We've included the little girl in our children's program at Romero House. Somebody picks her up and brings her back. We've asked them to publish a blog every day so that about because they're very committed human rights activists. We have an English class, we have somebody going there that teaches, so they have a regular 2-hour English class every day. And this is really, really important, all this kind of thing.
So the children can't formally go to school, they're restricted?
No, they can't. Technically they can't, but different groups have been able to make different arrangements. There was a family a couple of years ago that had a family in a Franciscan priory, and the Franciscans were able to get the kids into the local Catholic school, and one of them would walk with them to school and pick them up. And at least that was really good.